Welcome back to my channel, Technical Analysis Main Simple. I am very excited about this video because there were a lot of global events and the market responded to that pretty well. We will be discussing that in a while, and we'll also be discussing about one stock that looks good to me. But before that, you need to remember three keywords. Okay, let's start the analysis. There were four major events that happened. The first was the US stimulus expectation, it continues. The second thing is the rising COVID cases in UK and the possibility of further lockdown measures. The third news, which came on Friday, was the increase in the retail sales in UK. This was very positive and market responded to this pretty well. And we will see that on the chart. The fourth news is the final presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. In this, Donald Trump again announced and highlighted the possibility of a stimulus coming. It is highly possible that the stimulus might come. If it comes before the election, then we can see a possible uptrend here. As discussed in the previous week, the market was neutral, that is, it was sideways and it was very volatile. Let's have a look at it on the charts. We will be discussing Dow, Nasdaq, and UK index, that is FTSE. Let's start with FTSE chart. This is because this has been the driving force for the markets last week. I have not changed any levels here. So if you see, we had discussed that this will act as a demand zone. So let's check candle by candle what happened. These are the five candles for the week. As we can see, it had a pretty downside here. This big red candle was due to rising number of COVID cases and then UK pondering on imposing more restrictions. This candle, it bounced from the demand zone, and this was the Friday's candle when there was a sentiment improved due to increase in retail sales growth. So this is how it looks right now. So it will be very important to see that if this supports holds going forward. If we break this, the next level will be somewhere here, that is 5500 or 5600. So there will be a big fall here. If it tries to go up, the first level will be 6000, which will also propel our market pretty much, and breaking above that or breaking above this trend line, the trend would completely change towards upside. So we need to see, still we need to see what happens. It is still in a consolidating phase. We have Dow futures chart here. We will see that this chart is very similar to Nifty's chart. So if you see, we are at the same level from where the fall started, and that is the reason that here there might be an accumulation of sellers. This doesn't mean that we cannot break out from here, but price will struggle here. Well, so what are the levels we need to keep an eye on? As you can see, the price has bounced from here. It has created a hammer-like candle here. So this will act as a support till it's broken. On the upper side, this is a strong resistance. So what to do if these levels are broken? In case these levels are broken, the next target for Dow will be 27,500, which is a 500 points drop. On the upside, if it breaks out, it can give a rally up to this high, that is 29,500. Let's check Nasdaq now. So this is Nasdaq futures. As we can see, Nasdaq is at its all-time high. It has already taken away the breakdown long back. So now we can see that there was a breakout here from this range, and now Nasdaq is trying to hold that point. So this looks bullish to me because there is certainly a buyer accumulation here. Any pullback will pull Nasdaq back towards this high, that is 12,250s, and if it falls from here, it will go to this level, that is 11,250. So now we need to wait and watch where the breakout happens. If it remains in this range, then it can try to test this upside. If it breaks from here, then the next levels will be this and then this. With respect to domestic markets, there was one major news. This was regarding the expectation of economic stimulus package in India. However, on Wednesday, it was clarified that the expected stimulus can come somewhere around next week, and the details can be seen here. Okay. So broadly, the markets moved in tandem to the global rates, and largely speaking, UK was the driving force this time. So let's dive into the Indian charts and see how they look like, and what are the levels we should be aware of in the coming. This is the chart of Nifty, and let's have a broad level view of this chart. As we can see, the area where Nifty is right now, this area has been a very big resistance for this. One, two, here there was a small breakout, and then now we are standing at the same level. So we are standing at a very crucial level with respect to the charts. Now let's have a deeper look at it. If we go to the hourly time frame, see how volatile the markets were. This was for 20th October. Market opened here, it came down, and then it closed here. Here also it was so many zigzag. So market was continuously volatile as we discussed. Now let's try to find out the levels. So market is still in the same range that we were discussing last week. Now, what are the possibilities for the next week? The first possibility is market remains inside this range. In that case, it will be again be a sideways market and a volatile market. The second possibility is market breaks from here. If it breaks, then the next level to watch for is between 600 and 650, this level. It can take a halt there. On the upside, we can see the levels of around, on the upside, we can see the levels of around 12,250 if it breaks out. On the upside, we can see the levels of 12,250 if it breaks out. Well, now let's analyze Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty actually broke out of this range. This was the range for previous week. The first day itself, it broke out and started moving higher. We discussed this possibility that if it breaks out, it will start moving higher towards 25,000. The high made for this week was 24,823. Now, what are the possibilities for Bank Nifty? It can remain in this range. This is the first possibility. If it tries to break out, then the first resistance will be the top of this sell-off candle, which will be around 25,250. And if it crosses that, then the gap filling process will start and it will pull Bank Nifty towards 26,229 or 26,230. On the downside, if it breaks down, then the first stop will be 23,100. For now, we need to take care of these levels because I am not seeing any further move right now. In any case, if there is a very big gap up or gap down, or if there is a big fall due to election, then we will have to see for the next levels. For now, for next week, I don't think it is going anywhere. Well, I had told you that I will give you one stock pick. So let's discuss about that. This stock is Cosmo Films. Now, if you see, this stock is in continuous uptrend from here, and it is also trying to make a new all-time high. So this is very positive for this stock. Now, if we go to weekly time frame, for those of you who do not understand about time frame, the video is coming out tomorrow. Do watch out and see how to understand the combination and interaction between different time frames. So if we see the weekly time frame, it is trying to break out, right? We have a strong candle here. It tried to break out few weeks back, but it fell, and now it is trying that again. This time the momentum looks a very stronger one. On any closing above 470, this can give a very good move. Now let's try to figure out what can be the possible stop loss. So your stop loss can be very small. We have already discussed that the markets are volatile and hence we will not be looking for any big stop losses. So this can be your stop loss. The low for this is around 440. So 442, 443 can be your stop loss. You can buy on any closing, any daily closing above 470. Your targets will be around 525, 530. So your risk here is about 30 bucks and your reward here is around 55, 60 bucks.
So this is a good risk reward trade according to me, because it has a risk reward ratio of around 1 is to 2. So that's your stock pick. You should not hold this stock if your stop loss is hit. Don't try to think that it has to work or it has to go up. If your stop loss is hit, you have to go out. Trade with light quantities because markets can be volatile. It can do whipsaws. So trade with very light quantity.
Overall, we can summarize this by saying that volatility will increase moving into next week, and which is again closer to election. The US election is planned on 3rd of November. In the next week analysis, we will cover a detailed analysis as to what to expect from the market on a particular day, like when can we expect a large move in the market, be it on the upside or on the downside. We will support this with data. For now, we need to be very careful and we need to understand that since the volatility will increase, it is preferable to tighten your stop loss on the existing positions. And if you go for any new buys, keep your stop loss very tight. The market will not give you an option to exit if it falls. So, for the derivative traders, be very careful in hedging your positions.